Okay, now, we want to look at some more practical things that can be done. We did establish right before the break that there's just some really evil nature in what some people are trying to just lure our youth into doing, and it's just pathetic. I just think that if it's not prophetic, it's pathetic. That's just subhanAllah, my way of looking at things, honestly. If you don't follow the Prophet ﷺ, we become pathetic, and as someone else pointed in another episode once, we become blinded to it sometimes. Yeah. And because the desire blinds us to the point that we don't see how inhumane our actions have become. Not only inhumane as a synonym for cruel, but I just want to say non-human, how animalistic and beastly. So, Dara, how about the idea of marriage on the other hand? We want to look at a womanly perspective again. What will marriage do to kind of quell this within a woman, within a man?
It satisfies everything. I guess for the man, it's his carnal nature of the chase, to go and propose and get an apartment building.
So he can get that fulfilled in seeking a wife as well, not just a girlfriend.
In a halal means.
Okay.
In a halal means, and
Go on.
it's with a pure intention. So I mean, the amount of barakah you have with the intention is incredible. I don't think any kind of form of dating can give you that kind of satisfaction.
Barakah as in
personally.
grace, blessings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. For a woman's side, obviously, she gets married. She can have children. That's a huge thing. If you're sharing a child with someone in a halal means, rather than if you're dating someone and you start doing things you shouldn't be doing. And imagine just the concept of having an illegitimate child. It brings up torn families.
Isn't that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in a way telling us that watch out before you enjoy yourself? Think. In Him Subhanahu wa Taala, in Allah is having shown us how detestable it is to our very own natures, no matter how sinful we are, to have an illegitimate child. I think it's one of those agreed upon, evils. People see the harm, especially when the father just walks off. You hear it. Years ago you had Pearl Jam sing about Jeremy, the kid who went out and killed everybody in his class. Daddy didn't give attention, and the fact that mommy didn't care. King Jeremy the wicked. If daddy isn't really daddy, then why is daddy going to give attention? If daddy was just fulfilling some carnal, lustful, whim, then it's just obviously that's another advantage to marriage, over dating. Imam Suhaib, also just for more practical maybe advice.
Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He identifies the objectives of marriage, mawaddatan wa rahmah, is to have this love and this mercy, to experience true love and true mercy. Where do you learn how to share with someone? Where do you learn how to give and take, so to speak? It's easy with your brothers and your sisters when you're raised up all your life, because you can treat each other, unfortunately most of us know, very badly as brothers and sisters. But with your wife or with your husband, وَعَشِيرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ.
Right.
And we've been ordered to live with our women in noble means, with a lot of respect and honor towards them. So marriage, first of all, gives us this love and this mercy and this understanding of giving and sharing with someone else. The first year is very difficult from a philosophical point of view.
You're not used to this.
Just clashing with each other based on how you look at life. And then realizing that tawheed is the ultimate component that forms this unity. Whatever problems we have, we can work it out through tawheed, through our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Absolutely.
The other thing is that the only type of date that is halal is the one that we eat. When we're talking about dating here, we're talking about dating, for example, maybe if you've already signed the contract with your wife, then you can go out. But before that, this is something that Islam
She's not yours
looks
yet,
down
is she?
upon.
She's not yours.
And he's not yours.
And you're not
either.
hers.
Yeah, so and this becomes a problem that you're not even officially, Shar'i-wise, marriage, and you say, my wife or my husband. This becomes a disaster because you're now creating a relationship that does not exist in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many youth ask why. I'm just going to date, man. I ain't going to touch her. I ain't even going to look at her. Now get out of here, brother. You're not going to look at her. Because the Sharia believes that prevention is better than harm. Now the best type of medicine is what? Preventive medicine for the human body. The Sharia has preventive medicine for the nafs and for the qalb. So these things have been made forbidden to protect us from ourselves as a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what can we do to maybe replace these difficulties? Number one is the type of music and the type of movies that we watch. What am I filling my head with? If you listen to rap music, if you listen to heavy, I don't know, grunge, I don't know now, I'm mashallah, I'm well beyond my days.
You're outdated.
Yeah, over, whatever. Ice
Just
age,
teasing.
Khalas. But what is the image of women that is projected through these songs? These singers that we're talking about earlier, the irhab of qulub, what image are they giving of themselves? what is the qima of the woman in their lyrics and their actions and the purpose of the woman, where many even believe that the purpose of the woman is to be the servant of her husband, where in fact Islamically her first purpose is to be the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Absolutely.
And everything
Absolutely.
comes after this.
Absolutely.
So what am I listening to? What am I reading? I mean, these dumb
Who's
love
dictating
stories.
my understanding?
Who's putting the lenses on the eyes which I look out
With which I see the
But this is
world.
the eye of the qalb, not necessarily the eyes of the heart. Number two, the friends that I hang around with. What's important to them? Is Salat al-Fajr important to them? Is reading the Quran, being a good student, being a person who does something positive in my community? Or is it, yo man, I got to get the next, that girl's fine, I got to hook up with her. Or, oh, I need this brother, he looks just like Amr Diab. Or, what type of...
It's all superficial. I mean, it's all outward.
Yeah. So my buddies who I hang around with.
Right.
Number three, the families. Make it easy on youth to get married.
Absolutely.
Wallahi, rahmatan lahum.
Absolutely.
And don't make adhab on them. I have some friends of mine when I was young who fell into zina. Why? They gave up on getting married, akhi. It would have been easy for them to break out of Alcatraz with a pair of pliers
then end up
than to get married to a Muslim woman, which Allah has legislated. إِلَّا مَا حَرَّمَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ عَلَى
إلا ما حرم
نفسه.
إسرائيل على نفسه. نعم.
So we're making the religion hard, where the goal of religion is to make doing good easy. Lower the mahars.
Absolutely. They're
Our
asking for
young
astronomical
brothers.
figures. It's just astronomical.
In Azhar, I know a sister, mashallah, here from Malaysia who married for the Quran. And people shamed her, even religious people. And not the professors, but in the community of students were like, how can you marry for the Quran? She said, it's an honor, it's a sharaf for me to do so. So we have to, maybe you can have another show where you examine those social issues.
Absolutely. I think because we're out of time as well, we're going to have to take this to a close. But absolutely, as Imam Suhaib and Dar earlier also showed us, this definitely needs to be taken into, and this is almost like a zip file that we want to unzip later. I think that a very important point that needs to be made is the metaphysical barakah, as Dara put it, this grace, this blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give for those who preserve themselves for their spouses, for the woman who keeps herself for her husband, for the man who keeps himself for his wife. There's going to be a certain level of enjoyment, of enjoying and experiencing and just being truly pleased, not only because one, it logically makes sense because there won't be a guilty conscience attack. You won't feel like, this dissonance of I'm having fun, but my senses are having fun, but my heart isn't. I mean, that in and of itself is testimony to the fact that dating and all the extramarital sexual relations that it ultimately leads to most of the time are just not the way to go as human beings. The dissonance itself testifies to that. But I also want to add that beyond rationale now, on the supra-rational level, we trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we believe that when we do things the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do them, something happens that does not happen when we do them in the ways that Allah has not sanctioned. And this enough, just having this good opinion of Allah, this husn is enough to bring us into, because at the end of the day, if you believe in asbab, if you believe in causes, then you might think, well, it's not working, the marriage isn't working. And true, the dowry is too high, the money, my job pays too low. And that's correct, and you have to do the causes. You have to seek a better job. If the woman you potentially want to marry requires a higher living standard, that is her right. But, and again, we're not talking astronomical here, but we're talking about what she's been raised up living as. That's what we're looking at. Look in details later. But at the same time, if causes are not helping you, don't worry, because you're only doing the causes as a form of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing them as a form of obedience. Ultimately, ask Allah, Ya Allah, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. My Lord, I'm in need of all the good that you can send down to me. Ya Allah, give me. You've been giving me, but I feel I need you to give me khayr. I need you to give me good. Ya Allah, khayr is with you. All the goodness in the world is with you. رَبَّنَا أَتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنًا. Our Lord, give us the good of this dunya, in this world. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنًا. In the world to come, in the akhirah, the afterlife, the hasana, the good of that world as well. وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And save us from the penalty of hellfire. We trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we truly have yaqeen in our hearts, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to send our way what we will complete our religion with. It's half the deen. So if you're already committing to the deen, you need that other half. You need your wife. As a man, as a woman, you need your husband. If you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow you to know Him more through sending that your way, that is part of your worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't want to run the risk of taking any longer than we should, because the director is going to kill me, but we are out of time. But we'll see you again with another episode of Stairway to Paradise. Anything correct I've said is from Allah, anything incorrect is from my own nafs. May Allah forgive us, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.